Welcome to the Healthcare Business Secrets Show, where we interview industry leaders and break down exactly how they're dominating their markets so you can learn from the best and can double your revenue, double your impact, and double your time off. In this episode, we're talking with the incredible Forbes Riley. She's an award-winning TV host, author, motivational speaker, entrepreneur, and one of the world's leading health and wellness experts. She mesmerizes audiences with her authentic, inspirational style that is second to none. Often referred to as the Oprah meets Tony Robbins, she transports, transforms, and transfixes audiences from 100 to 10,000. As a health and fitness expert, Forbes was introduced into the National Fitness Hall of Fame and is the creator and CEO of the fitness phenomenon Spin Gym. The product alone has sold more than 2 million units, and she has a team of worldwide brand ambassadors promoting workplace wellness to major corporations. I'm super excited to have her on the show. We went through a lot of detail, and I think there's going to be an incredible amount of value in this episode. It's recorded into 2 parts that we brought together because there was so much value involved, and I wanted to set this up for you guys listening to get the most out of this episode. So I'm going to play a little trailer to give you some context as to who she is and to understand where she's at so that you can really take the juice from this episode. So I hope you enjoy it.
For this energy, for your heart, how you guys feeling? You are in the right place and the right time. This internet thing has changed everything, hasn't it? Yeah, it doesn't matter how young, how old, how disabled, mentally or physically, you can do it. You don't have to wait for a boss anymore. What do you want? Look at me, what do you want?
I want to be able to earn enough to take care of myself and my kids.
Yeah, that's nice. What do you want?
Help veterans.
What do you want?
To improve myself. I am. I'm just too excited, and it's just, this whole thing has just been such a great learning experience. It really has.
Everybody raise your hand. It's not a Simon Says thing. Raise your hand. If you hear someone at this convention for the next day and a half say, I don't know, slap them. I do know, however, that the more I give away, the more I've been getting. How does that feel? That maybe this life isn't all about you. My goal right now, are you willing to play with me? Say yes. Say yes! Thank you! That is how you gross $2.5 billion. You don't go, I'd like it. The reason I'm on this stage and you're not, there's only one reason. I dream bigger than most people. That's how everything happens with a vision and a dream.
Welcome to the show, Forbes. We had an amazing chat before the show and talking about all kinds of interesting things. There's so much value that we can talk about today, and I want to keep it as close to what I think is going to be the most valuable for me as well, but especially our audience. And can you give us a quick 30-second little background on where you're at now compared to what you were doing? Because you were talking about how you work with health professionals, real estate agents, and coach them on their pitch and communicating what they do. And I think that'd be an amazing starting point for us.
Well, it's interesting because I have a background as a professional actress, television host, and I've, along the way, through infomercials and live home shopping, I've grossed a little over $2.5 billion in sales. Now, the interesting thing is the sales have always been about health and wellness products, whether it is my own spin gym or Pilates or rebounders or other things, because I did my entire career was to create the pitches for products. In fact, in the 90s, I'm a little bit older than maybe you think, who knows, I helped create the concept of selling fitness on television. So when Body by Jake found me, he pretty much isolated the idea that I was really good at creating pitches. And so people would bring whatever product. And we're talking all kinds of health and wellness products, from Breadman to Slam Man to roller skates to inversion tables, didn't matter what it was. I have a very unique sensibility about how you want what I have. And in the last couple of years, I've isolated those techniques so that it's not just, oh my God, Forbes is really good at this, but that anybody can learn the skill. And it's bizarre because you look at me and go, she's just talking. Now, what you don't see is that I'm talking on 18 different levels. And it's like me looking at Serena Williams going, she's just hitting the ball. I go down on the court. I hit the ball. Looks nothing like what she does. What's the disconnect? And it doesn't matter how much I watch her, I don't get any better. So I've decided and literally laid out with now about 30, 40,000 students over the last decade, how you can get your message, your product, your service, your idea out of your head and into somebody else's hands. And I'll tell you what, there's some very actionable things. So if anyone is listening today, one of my favorite things, for those of you who don't know, if you're so busy texting, this is a pen. Write some things down. And one of the things is stop telling people what they need. They don't need your service. They don't need your new product. They don't need your skincare. Nobody needs anything. In fact, you've never bought anything based on what you need. You only buy what you want. And if you can convince a customer to want what you have, they'll pay you all kinds of money for it. And that comes down to verbal technique.
100%. I think it's spot on. It's what I spend a lot of time trying to, maybe less eloquently, explain to my clients, is that we're experts. We love what we do. We're the ones who care more about what we have than anybody else. We're just another provider, another fancy technique. And our clients sometimes don't even want, or there's just such a disconnect between I'm an expert in dentistry or chiropractic and I'm passionate about the thing and I'm trying to convince you that this is what you need, when it's not what you want. You don't even care about it.
Right. So stop trying to convince people. How do you do that? Very simple. You actually, you practice, because me telling you this doesn't actually translate very well. So let me use a practical experience. I have what's here, Astringent, I created, right? Do you want it? Probably not. You don't even know what it does. Now I could sit here and tell you all that it does, but that still isn't going to get you to want it. You know, one of the things that I do, especially over Zoom, James, put your elbow up like this. Feel the back of your arm. Now, feel it. Is it nice and tight, or is it really firm? For many women, very, very saggy and flabby, right? I'm going to tell you that in 5 minutes a day, sitting in a Zoom box like this, the way this tension works, this is a 61-year-old arm, and that's how hard it is, right? This is what I did. Do you all of a sudden get a sense of, I might want that? I didn't really tell you who I am or what it does or why it does it. I created a want in you. And it's a kind of a funny thing. And I will tell you, even especially with my product, I went through a very interesting evolution on my own, and I really distilled some things. So I would go to conventions, right? And I would get you, and we would do this, and we would exercise, because I love all the workouts. It does abs and back. And I would work with you. About 15, 20 minutes later, you would get up. I was so excited, and you'd leave. And you wouldn't even take I'm like, well, what didn't you? And they would leave. Well, funny thing happened. Enough of that had to happen that I went back, and I always re-engineer things. So I would break down my system to what we call relatability factor, springboard story, assumptions, the hub, and the grid. So when I realized what it was that got you to feel something, not me telling you, but that apparently when people feel something working, they believe it's working. Okay. And imagine using very little words to convey what you want. So I have this product, and I've actually created a 90-second pitch. And here's how it goes. The first part of my pitch, James, wherever you are, maybe I'm sitting on an airplane with you, I will turn you and say, hey, James, nice to meet you. Do you want to see something cool? What do you say?
Yeah, sure.
Right. I already know you're going to say yes. Isn't that funny? I knew what you were going to say. The next thing I would say is, give me your thumbs. Now, I got to tell you, I stopped talking. You actually just put your thumbs up. We're not even in the same country, but you did what I told you. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on your thumbs, and I'm going to do it. I don't say what it is. All I offered you is, do you want to see something cool? You said yes. That's an agreement. You start doing this. Then I'm going to count from 10 to 1. Why do I do that? Why don't I count from 1 to 10? Because psychologically, if I do 10 to 1, you know there's an end to this craziness. But I don't stop there. Then I make you do it over your head, 10 to 1. And then this is crazy. It works every time. I get you to put your hand on your heart, which is about where your love is, and you punch out some stress, 10 to 1, and then I take it away before you can do the other side. You know what happens when you're a little out of balance as a chiropractor? You want to, so basically that person then has to say to me, well, how do I get that? You give me your money, I give you the product. 90 seconds, and here's the crazy thing about that, and you know this to be true by doing funnels. Once you discover something that actually works, it kind of works almost every time. You know what I didn't do? I didn't say who I am. I didn't brag about how much money I've sold or how famous I am or how successful. I didn't even tell you what it's called. And I created a sale. So a couple of things for you in whatever profession you're in. Number one, what do you want from your customer? What do you want from the relationship? What do you want from the conversation? If you can go in beginning with the end in mind, you're more likely to get it than if you're just kind of willy-nilly about that. And the funny thing too is my dad was a magician. And I'm very keen on the fact that I can get you to do and say anything because that's how magic works. Think how ridiculous that is. You ever see a woman cut in half?
Yeah.
Did you believe it was, well, but so think about it. I am coming out here and I'm going to lie to you as a magician. I'm going to cut this woman in two parts. One will be over there, one will be over, and then magically I put her back together again. Now, logically, you're like, that didn't really happen. But we watch it and we applaud it. So a couple of things are happening. And again, I'm a huge fan of the brain and psychologically how things work. One of them is, one, we obviously like to be lied to. Now, that's a funny thought, isn't it? It's also a problem because we do get lied to as people all the time. We tell people about Santa Claus and the tooth fairy and that this is real. And then we also go, oh, as a chiropractor, I can just crack your back and you're going to be fine. Which one is the truth? Which one is a lie? And so you now have to cut through all the mechanisms because people don't really understand that and get to what they want, give it to them, over deliver. And then ultimately you get not only a customer, but a thank you. So that's part of my strategy of getting doctors and lawyers in real estate to trust people, to trust you. And there's kind of a system to this. Want to hear it?
Yes, please.
One of them is a relatability factor. What's something about you when you talk to somebody that usually gets them to relate to you?
Your story, potentially?
Well, no, actually, I don't even care about your story. Let's start with the fact that you are who you are. I know that sounds crazy. Relatability factors might include your age, your height, where you come from. Are you a trendsetter or not? Now watch this. And this is why I love teaching this system, because it makes you feel good about you. So watch this. I've got a lipstick here, right? Now let's say I grew up with no money. So my relatability factors, guys, I'll tell you what, I didn't grow up with any money. And this is really expensive, but I know I've had cheaper things. They haven't worked. This one is unbelievable and worth the price. Or I'm someone who grew up with a lot of money. Guys, let me tell you something. I know the best of the best. This is worth it. Oh, so maybe I am a trendsetter. Okay, guys, I'll tell you what. I see all the trends before they even come out, and this is that product. I'm not a trendsetter. Guys, you know what? I miss everything. But I tell you what, I finally figured one out. So it doesn't matter what your relatability factor is, the reality to you. You can take the you that's real, authentic, and that's what everybody wants now, and make it work for you. Here's another relatability factor. So let's say I've got a fitness product, right, James? And I am severely overweight. Do you think I could sell this?
Yeah, based on what you said.
Well, but
relatability.
How? So think about it, because I would like to sell this product for Forbes, but I've got 100 pounds to lose. Relatability factor says, guys, look, I know I'm a little overweight. I get it. I'm going to do a challenge and go on the journey with you to show you how well this works. Ready? Let's go. Oh, now anybody could sell this. Or, hey guys, I'm super fit, but you know what? Because of lockdown, no one's getting to the gym. I use this every day to warm up. How is it the same person could sell this? Because they understand their relatability factor to the audience they're talking to. That's number one. People come to me all the time and they say, teach me the perfect pitch. I'm going to go, the perfect pitch is you pitching the same person every time. Oh, no, wait, you got more than one person to talk to? Yeah. You don't need the perfect pitch. You need to become the perfect pitcher. And I'll tell you what, just like anything that you learn, if you understand your relatability factors, then what I call a springboard story. If you understand stories that can absolutely inspire people, then an assumption, who am I talking to? So right now, James, I'm talking to you. You're not an old guy. You're not a girl. You're a man of a certain age. And so the speed with which I'm communicating with you is a certain. I also know you're a chiropractor. I also know you're smart. Now, what's interesting about that is the more I find out about you, the more I can use that. You said that you are married, right? You have kids yet?
Yeah, 2 kids.
Great. So I just found that out. So I can say, you know what? I'll tell you what, James, as a busy parent, do you find that you run out of energy pretty quickly at the end of the day, right? Jason, I just made an assumption about you. I don't know you, but I can assume that is real and use that as part of my pitch to enroll you. I talk about pitching in three E's: excite, engage, and enroll. If I'm boring, if it's not interesting, nobody's interested. If you're not engaging and you know, if I don't suck you in, And then if I don't enroll you to something, you know, it's the funny thing, when I started out, I would do these trainings. I had a very breakthrough transformational thing I used to do in my living room. First time I did it, oh my God, it was so good. I got the testimonials, I had people breaking through, and then I said, thank you. And they're like, well, what's next? I'm like, nothing, go home. They're like, well, isn't there more? I'm like, no. I'm an actress. I've done a Broadway show, right? At the end of the show, I don't walk out and go, hey guys, if you like that, I got something for you. I would just do what I did and go home. Well, number one, I lost tons of money. And I also lost the ability to service people. So it's a funny thing. You've got a product or a service. And, you know, very often you'll talk about people. I love to give speeches. I am currently on tour with Deepak Chopra, Damon John, Les Brown, and Jack Canfield. I'm the girl in the middle. I got to tell you, that means something. I finally got to that level. There's not a lot of women at all at that level. Okay. But if I've got a great product and I'm on stage and I'm motivating you and then I just go home, I don't get to teach you the really good thing that I've got. So what I do with people who have a product to sell is I really drill down on the fact that what you've got, if you don't convey it in the right way to get someone to come to your training or get your product, they miss out. And so you start to make it about what they want, what they're missing in their life. And when you fulfill that, they buy. I hate being sold. I don't ever want to sell anybody, but I have grossed a little over $2.5 billion.
What I love with that is it's something that I say all the time as well, is that if we can't get a client, like if I'm dealing with a person who's got headaches, if I can't get them to actually do the thing and stick to the thing, then they can't get a result. And so it doesn't matter how amazing my thing is. Ultimately, my job is to get them to say yes and continue to say yes so that I can then get them a result. Because if people inherently knew what to do and how to do it, there wouldn't be so many problems. And often we even know, but we still don't do it. And this is brilliant because it's bridging that gap. A lot of people don't like the idea of sales. And I think that it's because they've had an experience of somebody trying to sell them something, or they bought something and had remorse for it and then wanted to justify, well, why did I do it? Oh, because he was a salesman. He sold me this thing and it's not good because somebody didn't deliver on what they said, or it was being pushed down their throat. But when we're communicating actual value, I think it's so important to know how to do this. You can't just have a good service, especially as a health professional. You've got to be able to get people engaged and enrolled.
Well, one of the things that I love doing currently at the moment, and I don't know how much longer I will be doing this because I do all my own trainings live. There's nothing recorded at the moment. There will be. But this is a new part of my world. And so I do a 3-week thing and we call it Media Mastery. But I have within that, it's people come to me for pitch class, right? What you quickly learn, I've just graduated 3 classes in the last 2 days. I'm a little tired, is that it isn't about learning how to pitch. It is becoming this amazing pitcher. It is uncovering something in you, one, getting rid of the sales notion, becoming very genuine and authentic, really understanding your value in the world and what you offer. And that when you go through this grid, what I call it, and you're constantly shifting, you can't sound like a salesperson. So the problem is, like, for example, James, pick up something on your desk. Let's play a game. What's something on your desk?
My water bottle.
Your water bottle. Okay, pitch it to me. Go.
That's going to be hard. I have no idea where to start. I classically want to go
wait. I'm sorry. You have $2 million things there on funnels and selling. You do exactly know where to start. Don't do that. Come on.
How I'd start is I'd want to understand a bit more about where you're at. I'd say if you're, for example, I get into exercise a lot. I like to exercise. I like to run. I like to work out. And when I'm doing that, I'm always needing to have water. But when I'm having water, every time I drink it, if I bought it out of the fridge or if I brought it from home, it's typically in a plastic bottle. And it always feels uncomfortable. Something about it doesn't feel right. I'm drinking plastic. I can taste it. What I've been introduced to lately, and you seem like somebody who's relatively interested in health, is that plastic is ridiculously cancerous. And I would probably pivot from there. As I said, it sounds terrible. It's interesting.
Well, it's so funny that you have all those qualifications. Actually, my daughter just walked in and she's part of the girl who builds me funnels. So here's the thing. You've got a water bottle, right? Number one, don't make it such a big deal. Hey guys, if you're like me, if you're sitting on a lot of Zoom calls, let me tell you something. This particular bottle, and one of the things that I'm very health conscious about, and I think you should be too, do not buy water from the store. Those bottles leak toxins into your water. They don't tell you that. I actually ended up in the hospital with a kidney disease, almost died by drinking water. Well, that seems crazy, right? So I'm committed to this particular bottle. It is called the Hydrotherm. Cool thing about this, it keeps cold water cold, hot water hot for hours. And I know that it's not made out of plastic. So number one, I'm hydrating and getting healthy. It's pitch.
Easy.
So what did I do? Well, one, I actually started with Relatability Factor. You and I are sitting on a Zoom call, probably for endless times. And we're not drinking enough water. That's the first thing. If you are, what is the quality of the water? And I just said, I just kind of got you about your health. And so all of those things, and you did some of that instinctually, but don't make such a big deal about it. You pitch all the time. Pitching is fun. And that is also the little bit of uncomfortable that you just experienced, even though you're a brilliant copywriter sales guy. Imagine if you're a doctor who doesn't pitch all the time, or you're a chiropractor, that's where you get stuck. Partly what I like to do in my training is just get you to be comfortable with enrolling people. Because if you don't do that, then you better have a sales staff who does.
Because the default, and I know this because it used to be me, and I deal with my clients all the time, the default is to jump into science and features of trying to be technical and overdo it to justify why they should choose the thing.
Okay. Here's another thing that's fun about the brain. And here's why I like to work with people, because you're not thinking about this. Just like I'm really not thinking about how sitting in this chair is hurting my back. That's what you as a chiropractor do all day. Oh, I can fix that. I think about features and benefits. And I think about how the brain works. What is 2 + 2?
4.
If I said 2 + 2 is 5, what do you think?
My brain hurts a little bit and I say no.
Right. So this is the funny thing. When you're talking to somebody, you're pitching them, and you say something that doesn't jive with the way the brain works, the brain stops. If I said 2 + 2 = 5, you really can't hear anything I'm saying after that, because you're still going, why did she say that? Maybe she's wrong. That's what happens. So one of the things about the brain, which is why I've made so much money in infomercials, this little concept, feature benefit. What's the feature of this product?
Small. It's easy to carry around.
No. Hang on. Feature. What's the benefit of that?
Easy to carry around.
What's the benefit of that?
You can take it anywhere.
What's the benefit of that?
You can use it.
Right. So now, so it's small. You're more likely to get a workout anywhere, anytime. Oh, interesting. What's another feature?
I'm going to go with the rings. I'm not sure.
Right. No, but this is what's really cool. By the way, this is something you have to practice, because everything has a feature. It has round rings. The benefit of that is you can put your hands this way, or any way that you want. It's a very easy way to grip it and kind of a unique way to use it. What's another feature?
The color.
Right. It's bright purple. What's the benefit of that? See, most people who are not in this kind of world never think about that. Hey guys, you know what? It comes in a bright purple, bright pink, because when it's sitting on your desk, you're more inclined to want to pick it up and actually use it. Oh, so if everything has a feature benefit and you say it that way, if you don't say it in the right way, it becomes a laundry list. Hey guys, you can carry it anywhere. And it's this and this. No. We actually think feature benefit. When you go to tell a joke, the best thing you can do is go bum, bum, bum in 3s. Why is that? Doesn't matter. I don't know why. It's how your brain works. So if you overload people with too many features, well, it does this and it has this and it, you're like, okay, but how does that affect me? And the more you tie these things together and practice the correct nature that other people consume information, the more likely you make a sale.
Now, when you're doing this, if you're doing this and something has multiple features, multiple benefits, I'm going to make the assumption that you emphasize the ones that you feel are going to be the most relevant to the person that you're talking to, or do you generally rank them?
Oh, no. Everything has to do with who you're talking to. I've got a girl in my last class who's got a documentary about the health industry. She's got 2 kids who are suffering from all kinds of things. And she started out, well, I've taken 4 years to make this documentary because the health industry is just in shambles. And I said to her, what do you want? Oh, I want everyone to know about this and learn. First of all, nobody wants to learn anything. And then I said, well, what do you want? She finally concluded that she wants money out of doctors who, okay, that's great. You want money. Let me tell you something. Somebody who's going to give you money, you know what they want? They want their money back as an investment. Oh, so you might want to let them know that's what you're up to. Then you also might want to appeal to them because people want to help. Her next sentence now is, guys, I am very passionate that the health industry is broken. And I'm sure that you've taken an oath to help people, right? Oh, well, now you got them engaged. We call this an open door. Then she tried saying, I've made a film about blah, blah, blah. Turns out nobody was really interested at that moment to hear about her film. What did work was when she said, I know this because I've struggled for 17 years with a son who's got a chronic blah, 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 blah. And we didn't have health advocates. The system is broken. Oh, okay. Now what's the plan to fix it? And so if you architect your pitch, but that's not the same pitch to a mom that she's going to want to have watch the movie. Do you see how you always have to kind of become that perfect pitcher? So the next thing that's important is, even especially when you're on a Zoom call, I have people go, okay, let's pitch this. Here's what they do. Well, hey, I've got a water bottle here, and I'll tell you what this does. Is that a pitching voice you're doing? What are you doing? You have to understand, I think, that everybody has two ears, one mouth, and there's no such thing as an audience. James, if I was talking to you or I was talking to 5,000 people, there's only one set of ears listening to me, right? And so if I yell at you, you shut off. But if I kind of whisper, I go and I figure out what you want to hear. And then I'll also make different assumptions. My entire career has been talking to a TV camera. There's nobody there. So I have to assume, if I'm on home shopping during the day, that maybe that woman doesn't feel good. That's why she stayed home from work. And I'm going to say, hey guys, you know what? There are times when I'm just so tired, right? And you want to do this. I also might think that there's somebody who's working from home. But I'll tell you what, if you're sitting on a phone all day long and your boss is at you and you want to just kind of punch out an email. So I would go down the list of assumptions of people in my head that I could be talking to. I mean, you do the same thing in your sales copy. The difference in sales copy is you can really nail down your audience when you're doing ads. In my case, you got to really keep assuming who you're talking to. Interesting, huh?
This is good. This is really good.
Yeah, thank you. I have a lot of fun with what I do.
I want to change here a little bit. Before we were talking about, you've done a lot through selling on infomercials and stages and things like that, but you're starting to build out some of your own funnels and potentially programs and things like that. And I find that really interesting, that for what we talked about, not to say that you're struggling per se, but it's a different ball game. And I think that you're in a similar situation to a lot of people who are listening to this. They've got amazing services, they're good at what they do, they get results, and they might even have successful practices, but trying to transition into this online space or this product-based space and even the coaching type space. What experience have you had since trying to do it this way through funnels that haven't worked as well, or it hasn't been as just obvious, I can just do the same thing, expect it to work, but it didn't? And what have you kind of taken from that?
One of the things that was different when it came to television, which is where I do come from, is that I didn't ever connect to my customer. Now, I don't mean that I would connect to them on an instant way. I could get you to pick up the phone and buy this. And then you would go off in whatever thing. And I never talked to my customers because you weren't allowed to on home shopping and on infomercials. All of a sudden, this little thing came out and Instagram and Facebook. And I'm noticing that some of my 18-year-old friends have got 4 million followers. What are they doing? And I remember when they first talked to me going, well, I post satisfying videos. I'm like, excuse me? And then she'd say, well, yes, I've discovered that my audience like this, and then like, it was so detailed about talking to the audience and then understanding the customer journey. That was not my expertise. And I'm going to assume if you're a doctor, lawyer, Indian chief, not your expertise either. But there are people out there like the funnel things that you have behind you. The reason you're successful is you've mastered the idea that when someone comes to a page on this crazy thing called the internet, they look for certain things. They're willing to put in, say, their name and email, but less of them want to play with you if you ask for their phone number. And then you'll split test those words. These are all very new concepts to me. Fascinating. I love all the analytics and I love seeing things, but not the world that I come from. A couple of years ago, I had a coach who said, you need a Facebook group. And I honestly, for 3 years, now I've got 1.8 million Facebook followers. I didn't know the value of a group. I really didn't get it. And then over the years, I listened more and more and said, there's a lot of value in, people who have similar interests coming into a world. And if you offer them the right things, they'll stay in your world, they'll play in your world, they'll do all kinds of things. But it never dawned on me that that's a really important psychology to master. You really, aside from just getting your person to buy, which I'm very good at, you really now go, okay, long-term, What do you do with them? Why do they want to be with you? Is what you've got wonderful enough to keep them in a group, in a membership? Do you offer them content that's similar? And even the whole upsell, downsell concept of what funnels are was a little bit new to me. And we are learning, I am learning, not only how to do it, but now the little hiccup I'm having is to create the products that are mine, that my customer wants. So things I've now discovered. If you buy a spin gym, not the question is you want this, but why do you want it? Oh, because you want sexy toned arms. That's a good start. If you want this, what else might you want? Oh, you want that special arm cream to tighten the bottom part here? Because as I tell women, you'll spend $180 on your face, but $6.99 on your arm cream. Oh, so that's one thing you're going to want. Oh, wait, if you want that or you don't want that, it's a whole computer idea, but you might want the energy pill that I've got because it's the middle of the day and you're tired. And I know you don't want caffeine. So I found this special little herb that just gives you a pickup and there's no downside. See how now I'm going, oh, I didn't understand the whole connect the dots thing. Mm-hmm. It has been fascinating to me. My issue now is to create the content that the person will like, because now we're doing pitching. So if you come to me because you like Forbes, I want to learn how to pitch. That's great. Oh, but you also want the formula to do that. Now you want to do the formula on camera. So I have a course called Crush It on Camera, where we take the pitch formula and we have you do it on Facebook. And then what happens at the end of that journey? Oh, I need another course. Okay. So that's been part of a little of the evolving issue that my company has, as we're growing, going, how, what do you do with all of these people? How do you keep offering things? Because I'll tell you what, the funny thing about people is if you're not offering it and they want it, they'll go to somebody else who does. Mm. And so kind of keeping up the funnel building world with the content creation world. And then Clubhouse came out. Oh my God. So now I don't know if you're like this, but I love to talk. Did you notice? Yeah. I also like to show up without makeup on. It's one of the pet peeves about being a woman. And I will tell you, I jokingly said that there's so many male motivational speakers, you can name them. Tony Robbins, Gary Vee, you go down the list, right? How many amazing motivational women can you name? Not a lot. Well, one of the reasons it takes a good hour to do the face. I have to pick out the high heels, the dress. And if a woman shows up in a suit, she's kind of butch. If she shows up too sexy, I don't want my wife, my husband hanging out with her. And so it's been an interesting time. I will tell you, James, one of the things that changed for me was I got a little older. Because when you're a little older, I'm no longer a threat to your wife. I'm not running after your husband. And that was kind of an interesting thing when you're a little hotter, right? That's not happening anymore. And a little bit of wisdom. And now you don't really care what I wear. If I wear, kind of a pantsuit and sneakers because my feet hurt, you're okay with it. But in my 30s and 40s, it was the high heel, tight skirt, certain look. So one, finding your own voice and your own branding. I then went ahead and created another class because I've discovered too, and this probably goes for everybody listening, you probably have some expertise that if you actually shared it with other people, you would feel good and they would get more knowledge. So I came up with this thing called OPP. How do you leverage other people's platforms? I realized as an infomercial host, even as an actress, I didn't pay for the movie. I showed up with my talent. As a doctor, if you're in a hospital, you didn't make the hospital. You're taking your talent, your expertise, and you're using their platform for that. And I will tell you, there's a lot of value to becoming your own personal brand, understanding what that is, and then doing that on social media, because it's a great way to stay involved. And I'm loving Clubhouse because it's a very heart-centered way to be. Instagram, you can fudge the photos with lighting. Facebook is whatever it is. I don't understand TikTok. I have no more time. But Clubhouse, you can get on and you can hear pearls of wisdom. You can meet amazing people. And in my case, you can get to talk almost endlessly.
I think what's interesting with Clubhouse is it's you actually have to know some stuff. You actually have to be able to give value, because anyone can take a nice photo and you can doctor it and you can pose it up. You can pre-plan a video, you can muck it up, you can edit it, but just talking for 4 hours in Clubhouse or whatever, like some of these guys do, and keep attention and actually give value, you have to know your stuff. That's why I love doing, I do live trainings inside of our Facebook group, and I teach some stuff and then I Q&A, and people can really see that it's just me talking. It's not me with this pre-planned script, because I literally just write down 3 bullet points of some topics I want to talk about, and then I talk. And so it's an amazing way for people to see, hey, he actually knows his stuff. he's not just making this up. He hasn't just made this funnel or this course and made it seem perfect. He actually knows his stuff. And I found that to be very helpful for helping people realize that I'm genuinely there to help, and I genuinely care, and I'm genuinely passionate. Because the problem with the online space is that there's so many people that can make something look good. The gurus, as they say, the courses, things like that. Now, real quick, I haven't actually jumped on. I've been on Clubhouse, listened a few times, but I haven't actually jumped in and done too much in at night. And I'm generally useless with social media, being busy as well, but I know I need to. But back to your point about offers and upsells and things, I think what would be really interesting and might even be valuable for you is the way that I thought about it. I went into this and I thought, I'm going to make a funnel. I'm going to plan this thing and I have these upsells, this and that. And then I started, and that didn't really work out naturally because I'm trying to build the thing rather than solve the problem. And so I instead started to think about it and get, well, where are the people? Where are they at? What would they want or need to be able to move to the next step? And then how do I make it attractive for them to want it? And so I worked from that and said, well, if ultimately they need to be in my program, because that's going to be the best way for me to work with them to get the best outcome, right? Or if they to be in my clinic, getting treatment, what's the preceding steps? And all of those become these entry points into my world. Some people, they want arbitrarily a meal plan guide because they've just got this itch they need to scratch. And maybe they just want to enter my world, see some of my stuff, but not have to buy something, not have to engage with something. Because if you're only offering a phone call, it's a bit much. And so I just basically built out these different ways that people can enter my world and had them all talk to each other. If you get the guide, you can join the group. If you join the group, you can get the guide. All of them give you an opportunity for a call when you're ready. And the call leads to joining the program. So it becomes this mesh of value opportunity. And so when I then built like a paid funnel, right? Buy something, a book or whatever, it was very similarly in the same mindset. I'm going to make a thing that's cheap and easy to get a customer. So it's a no-brainer. Once they're in that world, I'm going to say, well, now you got this thing. The next best thing is this on top. And as Russell talks about, not more of the same thing, but the obvious next step, an ascension. Because the more that somebody can make purchases, be a customer, the easier it is to help a customer to become a client than it is to have a lead become a client, because they've got some skin in the game. They've made a purchase. They felt good. It wasn't scary. It was only $7 or $30 and nothing bad happened. This is actually good. Wow. What if I went further? And so for me, that's what's actually helped crush it, is understanding that buyer journey and really just solving the problem, so to speak, of the steps, bridging each individual gap.
So explain to me, in your Facebook group, is your Facebook group private?
Yep, private group. You can find it, but you have to join it to see its stuff.
And do you schedule teaching on a regular basis?
Yep, we have a training today, actually. I do a live training once a week where I teach a relevant topic to what new people are looking for. So they're all wanting, how do I get clients? And so rather than giving them what they need, I give them what they want. And I'm talking to them about that stuff. I hear
that loud and clear. All right. So I'm going to support you here. Tell me your name of your group.
Healthcare Business Secrets.
Oh, I love that. That's another thing about not using your name, because that's something we're looking for. So all three of those words are very searchable and very good. So I'm going to look at Healthcare Business Secrets. And so you go on every Monday?
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
US time.
Is it really Tuesday? I've lost
it's Wednesday
all
for me, but.
All right. So that's true. It is down there. Have you been to the United States?
No, I was planning a big trip this year or last year, but then COVID happened and New Zealand locked down. And so we thought, let's just stay here. Had our second baby. And so I've just been chilling at home.
Now, let me ask a question. You ask for people's phone numbers. Do you find that they give it to you?
Yeah, because it's not that you have to answer the question. You have to give me your phone number to get access. It's like, if you want to chat about the next best step for you, put your phone number in. Let us give you a call. And then my client success manager, Jake, his entire job is literally to connect people with exactly the resource that they need right now.
Did you guys hear? Okay, I'm going to talk about Club Med for a second. Did you guys hear what James just called his sales guy? What did you call him? A client success manager?
Yeah.
That is just genius. Okay, so that is branding. That was just beautiful. You know, when I used to go, by the way, you need to accept me now because my membership is pending and I want to hear you. When I worked for Club Med in my 20s, when you got to a Club Med, they didn't call it a hotel or a resort. They called it Club Med. And the guy in charge, like the CEO, wherever of the club, they called him chief of the village. You were at a village. And all the guests were called GMs, which is gentile member, and all the people who worked there were called GOs. So you're not going, oh, there's the sales manager and there's the tennis coach. No, there's the GO, there's the GM. And the level of internal branding actually is what I think set that world apart at a very, very different level. So I love client success manager. That was very, very clever.
What I'm going to do for you is I'm going to get my team to put you through the normal process so you can actually see what we do and you can reverse engineer it yourself. I love people to listen to what I'm saying and then actually watch what I'm doing. And I tell all of my clients are in this group, even though it's a free group, because I want them to learn, but then I want them to learn at the next level, which is watch what I'm actually doing with this. Because I like to be really meta about it. I also like people to actually just understand that, hey, there is a process here and you can take it, you can use it, and you can crush with it. Because we just teach this stuff. Anything that I do is stuff that I'm teaching my clients to do.
That's funny. That's what Russell does. Now, why would you put a play video button on your profile picture when I can't actually play the video?
Because you're going to click it and then it's going to pop up the description and then there's going to be a link.
Okay. That's actually pretty clever. I like that. That's actually good. And by the way, it is fun to hang out with other professionals to really kind of explore this, because I don't think that any of us have a secret. I love the structure. I think that's a very profound thing to learn. Good for you. You've definitely got this wired. Now, did you learn all of this, or did you create some of this, or how did you come to your knowledge?
I download knowledge like nobody I've seen. So I'm just reading books, in programs, getting coaching, realizing that the best way to learn is to model somebody who's done it. Don't try and figure it out on your own. That's silly. If you're going to go through the jungle, you don't know where the tigers are, you might die. Find a guide and follow him. And then you can set up your own jungle tour, because you've learned some stuff and you've got your own flair with things. So for me, it's just learning everything.
That's fascinating. Good for you. And is your wife in business with you?
Yeah. So right now she's with baby predominantly, but we grew our practice together, and I'm been edging to try and bring her into the program and to be a part of that. She's kind of there in the background, but I wanted to be the face of it because she's an incredible woman.
How old are your kids? 2
months and 2 years.
Well, they're almost old enough to get started on their entrepreneurial journey. Come here for a second.
Right.
Come here. No, well, I'll tell you what. I got a little kid here who was starting. A little kid. She started at 6. Yeah. And now she's 18 and she's not so little anymore. Hi. And she runs my company that I don't think I set out to build a supreme entrepreneur, but Russell loves her. And so say hi.
Hello. Hi, James.
Now, you've been building funnels for how long?
For 5 years now.
Right
when we met Russell right when ClickFunnels really got started, and the whole world of teaching people how to do online stuff came around. And I remember telling people, oh, you got to try this new funnel thing. And they were like, a funnel, we're not making a cake here. We're trying to make money online. And I was like, okay, have fun. You'll learn eventually the hard way.
First funnel you built was?
The first funnel I built was I sold photo lenses. I started in marketing when drop shipping first became a thing. So I got in right as people were like, oh, what's this drop shipping thing, before the whole market got saturated. But that was the beginning of dropping little photo lenses that you clip onto your phone through ClickFunnels.
And you sourced it on your own through China?
Yes. Yeah. I was one of the first people to use Alibaba. That was before it blew up into a multi-billion-dollar company. It was kind of just the first kind of wholesaling. People didn't really understand what wholesaling was. And I learned it at this kind of marketing event that's no longer a thing, but it was like a university for marketers. It was where everybody who's top of who they are right now was there. And we got to meet them. I created relationships with people who are now at the top of their game. All started at this it was an octagon event. It was crazy, but yeah.
That's incredible.
So one of the things I recommend as a dad is that you expose your children to whatever you're doing. I talk to so many people on a Zoom call, their kid will run and they go, oh, it's my kid. I'm like, no, bring your kid in.
Yeah.
I think McKenna's gotten who she is because at some point she was traveling with me because I just love being with her, and you absorbed all kind of knowledge.
Well, actually, I just heard James say that you absorb knowledge like nobody else. The only people I can think who can absorb knowledge better than you are little kids. When kids are young, they absorb knowledge like nobody else. So I'm so thankful for the fact that my mom, Forbes, took me into this world and just made me come. Didn't really make me come along. I always wanted to come along because I wanted to be with my mom, but I absorbed everything because now I look at it and as I get older and older, I have a harder time learning new things. And it's just because I have more of this closed mind. I know certain things. I'm like, no, this is the way it's done. Why am I not open to learning this? Just like things like little mental blocks, just because as we get older, we have this thing of like, oh, we know more than we, whatever. But kids absorb knowledge like nobody else. And I love that. And that's why I think I want to write a book called Every Company Needs a Kid. So
that's amazing. That's amazing. I couldn't agree more. I think that when we start to just open our heads a bit more and let stuff in rather than having judgment towards it is the best time that we learn. And then we can actually just take it and use it. Too many times I talk to people and they go, oh, I know this, or I've tried this, or I've done this. And I'm like, okay, like, well, clearly you haven't done everything because otherwise you'd be successful. Like, what's going on? And really it's a mental game more than anything else. And your ability to let that information in and then chop it up and go, which is the stuff I'm going to keep and which is the stuff that I'm not going to, is much better for having success, happiness, and all things than to just try and filter it at the start. And so I like to just take it all in and go, that's interesting, and just cut it up and use it. So thank you. That's an inspiration. I love that. I'm definitely going to get my kids into this sort of thing.
What are some of the biggest issues that your clients, so obviously you are attracted to, or they're attracted to you, doctors, lawyers, people who are professionals, yes?
Healthcare, basically, healthcare-based consulting services. So some of them have practices, some of them sell products, but they have consulting as part of it, or coaches. It's basically where they are working with a client to get an outcome. That's my audience. And the main issues that they struggle with is, how do I get and keep more of my ideal clients without being salesy and without using outdated methods? That's kind of my little elevator pitch. It's really, how do I, because a lot of them resonate with this idea that I need to help my clients to make decisions to do the things, but they don't like the idea of pushing stuff onto their clients. And really the difference between those two is understanding where you're coming from with it and understanding what needs to happen. I think that people, when they don't realize that their client is begging for them for the right thing, begging to know, what can I do? And they want to give up control. The client doesn't want to be white knuckling it through trying to control everything. They want to have somebody they can trust who can just say, this is what you need to do. And they go, okay. And they just let go of control. And I really help my clients to understand that their clients need them. It's just how you're empathetically communicating with them to get them to have that realization that you are going to be in a safe place to get a result. And that was the biggest thing that helped me grow my practice, was being able to effectively communicate what I'm doing without doing sales scripts, without having processes.
Depending on what really interests you, I would love to come in to do a workshop with some of your clients. I'll tell you why. Because all the knowledge that I just dropped is nice, but what I do is all experiential. Because I've discovered through years of training that I can tell you all the right answers, but it makes no difference. Because number one, you still hear it through your filter. And if you've never tried it, you don't tend to do it. So one of the things I talk about all the time is how to express a story, right? And I'll say, why do you do what you do? And invariably the person will go, oh, because I love to help people. I'm like, we get that. That's why we all do that. Or why do you start doing that? And very rarely does the client have enough courage to go back in time to say, the reason I'm doing this is, for example, the reason I have a handheld fitness product. It's not because I want you to get sexy arms or I love any of the things that you would think. It's because my mom, when I was right out of college, she was 260 pounds diabetic and I couldn't get her to work out. And I finally bought her a year-long membership, thinking I was doing something good, got her to the door of the health club, and she wouldn't go in. I said, Mom, come on, let's go. She said, I can't. I said, yes, you can. You have a membership. Come on. And she started to cry. I said, what are you crying about? And she said, I can't. They all know what they're doing, and I don't want to feel uncomfortable, and I just want to go home. And she left. And I was sitting there thinking, all right, it was really sad. And I'm thinking, if that's her, maybe I have to commit myself to bringing something to her, because I don't want to see people swimming in their own fat, dying of diabetes because they don't have any desire, any knowledge to work out. And so I create a lot of home products that are easy, accessible, and very affordable. Takes away all the excuses, but that's my why, or one of my many whys. Because, by the way, if I gave you a different story, I have a lot of whys. And I don't think that we as professionals understand where to dig for those, have the courage to talk about them, and the value in 2020 of being real, raw, and authentic. So I will tell you, it's definitely a hands-on experience.
100%. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We've gone over a little time, and I'm really conscious of your time. I really appreciate you guys. You've been amazing. Where's somewhere that our audience can connect with you online and see more about what you do? I'm going to definitely be in touch with you, by the way. I'd love to organize that workshop, but where can our audience connect with you online?
Just go to ForbesRiley.com. I'm all over social media. Love being on Facebook, and I love being on Clubhouse. And I think I've only got the only Forbes Riley name I know. So reach out to it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. You guys are incredible. We'll speak soon.
Thank you, my darling. I appreciate you.
Thank you for listening to the show. If you like the episode, please hit subscribe and leave us a review. I'd really appreciate it, as it helps us get our episodes out to more people just like you who want to know how to increase their revenue, impact more people, and build businesses that work for the lifestyle they want. Now, I know your time is valuable, and I know that you are here to learn the secrets to success in your health business. So I have something special for you just for checking out the episode. Now, if you're a health professional, coach, or trainer in business, and you're serious about growing a profitable, impactful business, then pay attention, because as a listener of the show, I want you to win. And so I've created a host of resources available exclusively for listeners of the show. So if you're tired of trying to figure out this game of business, marketing, and sales all on your own, and you're ready to just implement what's already proven to work rather than reinventing the wheel, I want you right now to go and check out healthcarebusinesssecrets.com/insider, and there you'll find over $5,000 worth of trainings, resources, and coaching available only for listeners of the show. There I'll give you the resources on everything from how to acquire 10 times more of your ideal clients using social media and paid ads, even referrals, how to increase your client conversion into packages at an 80 to 90% conversion rate like me, how to retain your clients for longer, getting them better results and making them happier, how to increase your prices and charge a premium to work with you, and how you can build a 6, multi-6, even 7-figure practice just like I did, but with 1/10 of the time and 1/10 of the effort. What I want you to realize is that everything I teach comes from exactly what I did to have success and still have success in my own health business, and I want to share that with you so you can have success too. So go check out healthcarebusinesssecrets.com/insider right now and let me help you win big in your health business. Also remember to subscribe for 2 episodes every week full of the secrets to have success in your health business, as well as leave us a review so we know what you thought of the show. And I'll see you on the next episode.